important theories of taxation is that this is the cost of service theory. From the word you got some idea. Cost of service theory. That is, which are the important services rendered by the government, that is equal to the amount taxed by the government. That is cost equal to services. Cost equal to services. That is, services shows that which are the important public services rendered by the government. Various public services offered by the government. So, based on the services, government imposing the taxes. How much expenses incurred for the public services, that is equal to the amount of tax determined by the government. So, this is the word meaning of cost of service theory. This is one of the oldest theories of taxation. At the same time, this is introduced by von Hoek. He was an Austrian economist. That is cost of service theory introduced by, that is von Hoek. He was an Austrian economist. According to this theory, this is the one of the important oldest theory. According to the distribution of tax burden according to the public services rendered by the government. That is, higher the public services rendered by the government, higher will be the taxes. That is, this is mainly the cost of public services. That is, cost of public services, that is equal to how much expenses incurred for the introduction of public services. That is the amount of tax determined by the government. In short, higher the cost of public services, higher will be the taxes. Lower the cost of public services, lower will be the tax rate. That is the importance of cost of service principle or cost of service theory introduced, that is during the oldest period here. Then, which are the important criticism of cost of service theory? That is, it is very difficult to estimate. Cost of service theory, it is very difficult to estimate because how much services rendered by the government. Government offered so many various services. Government, it should promoting various services in order to promote the economic welfare, that is social, not economic welfare, social welfare. For that purpose, mainly these services are mainly for the benefit of the poorer section. So, it is very difficult to estimate the cost of public services or to determine which is the important cost incurred for public service. So, it is very difficult to estimate. And second is that this is not fair a welfare state. That's higher the services, higher will be the rate of taxation. This is not good principle for a welfare economy. Welfare economy main important objective is that promoting welfare to the society. This promotion of welfare mainly in the form of, that is government undertakes so many public services. If the government increasing the public services to promote the welfare, automatically raise that level of taxation. What is the relevance of welfare criteria here? So that is known as this was not fair to a welfare state. And third is that not to confirm the definition of tax. This is not a good definition. That is, the cost of services equal to tax. This is not an accurate definition of tax. This is very impossible to determine the cost of services here. These are the three important drawbacks or limitation of cost of service principle. One is that very difficult to estimate, that is not fair to a welfare state, and third is that it is very difficult to determine the definition of tax. These are the three important criticism of cost of service theory. Next important theory is known as theory of equity or equity principle. Principle of equity or equity principle. From the word you got some idea, equity principle. Equity principle shows that this is justifiable. Which is theory which is more justifiable and more equality. That is the importance of equity principle or that's principle of equity. That is, here there is a justice in the distribution of tax burden. justice in the distribution of tax burden or equality in the distribution of tax burden. That's because here there is a gap with the rich and the poor. To fill up the gap between rich and the poor, more tax on richer section and less tax on the poorer section is the best criteria to equality principle or justifiable. That is the main important point from the word meaning, that is the principle of equity. That is, it is mainly applied. That is, in the case of cost of service, then financial theory, then here the physiocratic theory, they are the oldest theory, but the equity principle introduced during the modern period. Modern times, we are mainly given special importance to the welfare criteria, then equality and justice. So, it is practiced during the modern period. And second is that this is ethically desirable. Here there is a ethical involvement, or here there is a acceptance of ethical. That is, ethical side is very important in the case of the principle of equality. There is special emphasis to the ethical aspect or social aspect here. And third is that here there is a fairness in the distribution of tax burden. When we compare to the other theories, like here there is a physiocratic, financial, then cost theory. This is more fairness because of the justice and equality. Compared to other taxation, this is more fair in character. At the same time, based on this principle, equity principle, it involves two important aspects. That is, in the equity principle, it involves two aspects. One is that horizontal equity and other is that vertical equity. Here there is a two important aspects are, that is to maintain equality and justice. Here it includes two important aspects. One is that horizontal equity and other is that vertical equity. Horizontal equity shows that people with similar circumstances treated similarly. If the people belong to the same category, same situation, same circumstances, same income, same wealth, they are considered equally. That is, people with similar circumstances treated similarly, that is equal to horizontal equity. People with similar circumstances treated similarly. That is, if you belong to the same situation, same condition, same circumstances, they treated similarly. Such equity is known as horizontal equity. Such equity is known as, that is horizontal equity. This is just opposite horizontal, that is equal to vertical equity. Vertical equity shows that people belong to the dissimilar situations or dissimilar circumstances, they are considered or treated dissimilarly. People that is with dissimilar circumstances treated dissimilarly. That is, if the people belong to the different level of income, different level of property, they are treated as differently, or that is, it is treated as dissimilarly. That is equal to vertical equity. If you belong to same income, similar circumstances, similar condition, that is people treated similarly, that is equal to horizontal. People with different level of income or different level of circumstances, they are treated different way, or that is they are treated dissimilarly, that is equal to vertical equity. These are the two important aspects included in the case of equity principle. This is that's mainly applied in modern period, then more fair, and it is mainly important to the equity criteria. At the same time, it is ethically desirable. These are the important points in the case of the equity principle. Then it involves two important aspects. One is that vertical equity and other is that horizontal equity. Horizontal means similar treatment of people who belong to the same category or same situation, and people that in the case of vertical equity, it shows that people with dissimilar circumstances, they are treated dissimilarly. That is the another important principle. Now we complete here. What about physiocratic? What about the financial? And third is that cost of service. And fourth is that what about the equity principle? And next principle is that, or next theory is that benefit principle. Benefit principle. from the word you got some idea, benefit principle. That is how much benefit enjoyed by the community. That is the level of taxation. That is higher the benefit, higher will be the tax rate. How much benefit enjoyed or how much benefit contributed to the individual, this raises the level of taxation. Higher the benefit enjoyed by the community, higher will be the tax rate. That is just opposite to the cost of service. In the case of cost of service, that is cost according to the services rendered by the government. Higher the cost, that is higher the services, higher will be the cost. That is higher the cost incurred for the services, that is equal to higher will be the tax rate. In the same way, that is in the case of how much benefit enjoyed by the government, higher the benefit, higher will be the tax rate. That is known as benefit principle. This is one of the modern theory of taxation, that is equal to benefit principle. That is, this is the benefit from services. Government undertakes so many public services or so many public works. It increase the benefit enjoyed by the government. So people should contribute according to the benefit received. People should contribute according to the benefit received by an individual. That is equal to benefit principle. Contribute, that is people or individual contribute according to the benefit they received or they enjoyed. That is equal to, that is they enjoyed, that is equal to the benefit principle. At the same time, higher the benefit, higher will be the tax rate. This is explained with the help of a figure. That is, in the case of OX axis, here there is a percentage increase in tax. That is tax level expressed in OX axis, and OY axis express percent increase in benefit. Percent increase in benefit. OY axis, that is equal to benefit side, and OX axis represent as tax rate. So in the case, here there is a steep line here, AB, that is equal to, AB is the budget line. That is, AB is the budget line. That is, it explain both the tax and the benefit. Both are explained in the AB line, steep line. According to this, if there is a OM amount of tax, that is OM amount of tax according to the OP level of benefit, that is enjoyed by the community. OP is the benefit enjoyed by the community. So OP equal to OM level of taxation. OP equal to OM level of taxation. When the benefit increased from OP to OP1, that is, if there is a benefit increased to OP1, that is a tax rate also increased to OM. So higher the tax, that is higher the benefit, higher will be the tax imposed by the government. So in that case, this is like the supply curve. That like the higher the benefit, higher will be the tax rate. That is equal to like the steep curve, like the supply curve. That is the one of the important figure here. OM is the level of tax and OP is the benefit enjoyed by the community. When the benefit increased or shifted to OP to OP1, it automatically increased the level of tax from OM to OM1. So this is explained the benefit theory here. In order to make more clarification, benefit theory explains which are the important advantages and which are the important disadvantages. The important advantage is that it combines benefit, that is in the case of benefit principle, combines both the income and expenditure side of the budget. That is, in the case of benefit theory or benefit principle, it is taken into account both sides, like income and expenditure. Budget is the, that is, it mainly explains income and expenditure. In the same way, benefit principle is also explain the both side of the budget. That's higher the benefit, higher will be the tax rate. So it is taken into account both sides like income and expenditure. And second important advantage is that it is favored from the point of incentive. That's it mainly consider the point of incentive. Incentive means that higher the benefit, higher will be the tax rate. So incentive is the second important point. Just to mind in the case of the benefit theory. Special emphasis allotted to the incentive criteria. And third is that this is mainly applied or used by local government. Local government undertake so many public services, or local government undertakes so many public works, so it is used by local government. Higher the benefit offered to the community, higher will be the tax rate. In that case, this is used by local government. And fourth is that it is used to determine the price of certain goods supplied by government. Example, electricity. This is mainly used by government to supply certain goods, that to determine the prices of certain goods supplied by the government. So, certain goods which are supplied by the government, its cost or the prices are determined according to the benefit principle. Based on this, these are the four important advantages. The first is that it combines both the income and the expenditure of the budget, and second is that this is favored from the point of incentive. Special emphasis allotted to the incentive. And third is that this is mainly used by local government to undertake local public works. And fourth is that it is used to determine the price of certain goods which are supplied by the government. The best example is that electricity. To determine the price of electricity, government follow the principle of benefit. These are the main advantage or merit of the benefit principle. Next we move to what are the disadvantage or demerit of the benefit principle. First is that taxation on collective basis, because the benefit principle benefits mainly to the general benefit or benefit to the community. Taxation on collective basis. And second is that not accurate measurement of benefit is not possible. That is accurate measurement of benefit. Benefit is a psychological factor. This is very difficult to measure, or accurate measurement is not possible. And third is that this is modern welfare state more benefit mainly to the poor. That is poor. That is in the case of that is main objective of modern state is that providing welfare. In that case, most of the benefits are provided to the poor. In that case, this may higher the benefit to the poorer section, higher will be the taxation. So it is more regressive in character. And third weakness, modern welfare state more benefit to the poor, so it is regressive in character. And last is that not solve the problem of distribution and stabilization. Not to solve the problem of distribution and stabilization. With the help of benefit principle, redistributive policy is not possible. At the same time, stability, that is to control the economic activity with this principle, this is not possible. These are the demerit. One is that this was against in the case of stabilization and distribution, and not suited to the welfare state because more benefit to the poor, so it mainly tax to the poor, so regressive in character. Then very difficult to accurate measurement, and last is that taxation on collective basis because general benefit is a special emphasis. So these are the drawback of the benefit theory. Now we conclude here. That is, the first is that here there is a physiocratic theory, and second financial theory, third cost of service, and fourth is equity principle, and fifth is benefit principle. Last is that ability to pay theory. This theory already explained my previous videos, so you just go through the video and you can identify what is the ability to pay principle, which are the important, that is how to measure the ability, what about the subjective and objective approach, which are the main important criticism, and which are the important merits of subjective and objective approach. This is completely explained my previous video. Now we conclude here. These are the main important theories of taxation. This is one of the important essay question to 2017, that is not. So what is meant by theories of taxation? Special focus or special emphasis to the ability to pay theory. Thank you.